What's up, witches?
What's up?
Welcome back to Sacred Circle. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Jamie.
Today, we're bringing you back the full energetic, emotional, and cosmic breakdown of July 2025. This isn't just a forecast, it's a transmission. We're going to guide you through the chi of the month, the astrology, the divine feminine archetypes, and how you might be feeling and how to support yourself throughout it all. And yes, Jamie's pulling cards for the collective too.
Yeah, so grab your moon water, light a candle, and let's talk July.
And just take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth just to become present a little bit. And Jamie's going to just pull a card and just talk a little bit about some of the energy that we are going to be receiving over July before we kind of go over like the specifics of what like is actually going on based on the moon and the planets and things like that. So
So I pulled three cards, but I'm gonna show you the one I pulled first, which is the High Priestess. And
awesome.
she sits squarely between Joaquin and Boaz, two pillars that are energetically divine and connected to the divine. And she's in her divine feminine glory, living her best balanced life between shadow and light. And I think that's a really telling card for this month, considering that there's going to be a lot of polarity. I'm actually starting to feel the polarity happening in my own life, the extremes between wanting to get all the things done and having the energy to do it and then dropping after because I've expended too much energy without replenishing. And
Hmm.
so this card is really fully embracing that all things come with divine feminine flow right now, all the things we're meant to do. And if we're pushing too much or pulling too hard, then maybe we need to take a step back, and just allow and know that we're divinely connected and that we have all the energy and divine connection that we need for July.
Yeah, that's like a huge, beautiful, strong card for July. Awesome.
I know.
And anything else that you pulled for July
I
with the
did.
tarot cards?
I pulled the Hanged Man upright,
Okay.
and then I also pulled the Emperor. So I'm seeing the with these two, the connection between balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine.
Mm.
Um, the Emperor's fully engaged in making sure that the people in his kingdom are taken care of, but he's also connected to source, which is filling his cup and allowing him to rule with confidence and to really just see the fruits of his labor without and enjoy them without having to create it. He's made it in this picture. He has completely come into his kingdom and his
And
divine kingdom. And then do you want to talk about the hangman?
yeah. Hmm.
So the hangman, a little apathetic, a little like life is just what it is. It's just kind of coming at us, but he's still happy-go-lucky. He's still he still has the sense about him that life is that journey of sometimes we come across the obstacles that we may not see ourselves getting out of quite right away.
Hmm.
But if we allow time and we allow space for spirit to come in, the answer will be revealed to us. And so he's definitely represents that he's in a predicament, but he's able to just sit there and know that in time, the solution will be made.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and that makes a lot of sense with the energy of July. I mean, when we talk just about the chi energy of July, it's more yin this month with Cancer and Capricorn, and it brings a polarity of front and center. So it brings that male, female, that, aspect of good, bad, dark, light. So it can be really nourishing and it really can give you an opportunity to see what in your life structurally may need to be reset and
Mhm.
what in your life you may need to like rest and let go of. Um, I think for a lot of people, the month of July is a huge reset month because May and June kind of lead up to the end of school and like kids ending school in this aspect. And then, even in the colleges, they're ending in June. And then most schools are starting back up around that August time period. So June has this like finalized period for a lot of us in our world and just the energy that we're creating with the way that our systems work.
Mhm.
And then August will have this like forward momentum of like new and what's to come and all the new beginnings. So July is kind of like this uh this breath,
Yeah.
this breath before um this like it's like the time when you are, it's actually really perfect for July because it is really the time when you are being more like a squirrel and you are collecting and you are giving yourself peace and calm and you're really trying to collect all of your energy and nourish yourself. And yet there's this big responsibility to like go out into the fields and make sure that none of the food is going to spoil because if that food's going to spoil, then you won't be able to use it. And so we carry with us that aspect of feeling the rest from the heat and the
Mhm.
nourishment from summer, but also this knowing that we've got to figure out what's working and what's not so that when the systems go into place in August, they are helping us with our alignment and our emotional truth, and they're not crushing us because we were overbooked or
Right.
um, not creating distance and time and space within the things that we're doing.
And the Cancerian energy is a very emotional, watery energy. I think of it as that first week of July has a sense of, ending of school. So there's kind of this bittersweetness, especially if your children are moving on to another school or they've left their friends behind to move or they're graduated and moving out of the house, whatever the expectation is. And the ceremony is in June with school. And so there's this tenderness and there's this sadness that comes with the parting of ways from our friends, especially with children and older children too. And so there's the emotional Cancerian energy that kind of just sucks us in. Plus, there's also 4th of July in America. And I think there's a sense of nostalgia, some pride, and just feeling some people are not feeling great about being American right now, and some are just feeling ultra excited to be American. And there's just this extreme emotional polarity happening right now in our country. And
Hmm.
then there's this sense to like by, the second week, third week of July, there's this push to like reclaim a new rhythm because now we're kind of fully settled into a new rhythm in summer. But we also have in our mind's eye that eventually we're going back to school or we're going back to, kind of like the sports season, the school. If you're a parent, this is kind of how the energy of it. And we're also coming into Leo in August, and the Leo energy is very passionate and very
Hmm.
masculine and just driven energy. So
And heart-led energy, like all
and
heart.
oh yeah, absolutely. And so that for a lot of us who are in business or we are in spiritual businesses or even healing work or even just teachers or anything that we do, we do feel kind of that weariness right now. And mid-July especially because there's this sense of wanting to have fun. And if you grew up in our country in America, most children when they're off at summer, that's what they do all summer long is have fun. They go outside and play, right? And or they go on trips with their family, or they just have fond memories of the time of July, of the month of July. And I feel that when you're really work in the working world and you have none of that time and space, that you're feeling that sense of weariness, like, oh, I should be outside,
Mm.
I should be playing, I should be enjoying my maiden and um, having fun in the sun. And that's part of the energy of Cancer. It's just that emotional balancing act, and if we ignore it, then we stuff it away for a later time to deal with. But if we really work with it, work with those energies and bring the joy into our everyday for working parents who can't necessarily, or working people who can't necessarily take summer off, find ways to find joy in your day that embraces July and the energy of that.
Well, and I think that, Cancer is a very nurturing sign. Like it's working in Capricorn and it's also, working in this aspect of shedding, and it's shedding the things that are not nurturing us. It's so it can bring up all kinds of different things. I find this time like a lot of nostalgia, or you can feel emotions and you might be like, why am I feeling this right now? Like, this is so
Mhm.
dumb. Like, I'm looking at that firework and crying. Like, why? Just
Absolutely
allow
can
those
relate to that.
emotions.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
just allow.
Mhm.
Because I think sometimes we live in a society that has taught us to go, go, go and do and push, push, push. And so we don't get to be hypersensitive to our environment. We don't get to be hypersensitive to our feelings. We don't get to find ourselves just crying over nothing. And so it's important. It's an opportunity for us to clear out, let go, and then be able to, process through without just continuing to hold all these feelings and stuff them inside.
And I think really if you take July as an opportunity to feel those feelings, they will process quickly and they will be released forever. Like I do believe there's a big opportunity with the energies right now to heal some of that lingering feelings that you may have. And we do that through journal. We have journal prompts that we use. We do that through meditation. We do that through healing work, Reiki, whatever it is you do, or prayer even. And it's just an important time to maybe create a structure in your life or rhythm through July that allows you the opportunity at least once a week. If not, if you could do it every day, great, but once a week to really give yourself that time to honor those feelings you may be having and do some of that healing work and know that it will be transmuted to something positive and you probably will never have to revisit that piece again because you did the work and the energy support that right now.
Some things that you can ask yourself when you're working with this energy is where am I overgiving or calling it love? So, is there areas in your life where you are feeling like you have to show up and you have to give, 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 and do, and you're calling it love, but it's not feeling like love? Where am I overgiving and calling it love?
Mm,
Another prompt that would be really good to look at and work with right now would be what feels like home in my body right now and who, right? What feels like home in my body right now and
mhm,
who? And then the last one would be what does sacred structure look like in my daily life? So I think that's more for like creating the future and what you're going to be calling in. What does sacred structure look like in my daily life? And right now, it's really about that rest period and giving yourself rest, rest, rest. And if you don't have sacred rest built into your sacred structure, then that might be something that you want to look at, in that question, what does sacred structure look like in my daily life?
mhm. Great question.
So, so Jamie, let's talk a little bit about the moons for July. I know that we usually do this in the beginning. Like, obviously, we're at the end of June and we're talking about July, and we haven't even fully finished the new moon for June, but
Sure.
um, you can always go back and listen to the whole month, like during the full moon part or during the new moon part, if you want to,
Sure.
through this podcast. So tell me a little bit about the new moon in Cancer that is going to be coming on July 1st.
Okay, so I just think that always during the new moon it's an opportunity to take stock of where you are in a sense of gratitude and like really observe your wins in your life, observe the wins in your day even, and work with the energy of gratitude. And it's a building energy. So if we're really fully invested in the July energies, and Cancerian energies are emotional and allow us to really deeply feel. And we tend to not have our heart chakra open because of the heart walls we put up. Then this is a really great time during the new moon to do some energy clearing around your heart walls, which means you can send love and light to your heart chakra. You can clear that chakra with light or energy. You can just spend time sending love to your household, then sending love to your community, and then sending love to your planet, and just expand your heart chakra with a loving meditation. We're trying to be restful and gentle and easeful. So I wouldn't take July 1st or the new moon in Cancer as an opportunity to do a lot and physically do a lot. It's more just taking a moment to raise our frequency to the level of heart and love and gratitude. And if we can get our space into our emotional state into that space, then what happens next through the next 2 weeks as we grow to a full moon, we will have a beautiful experience. We'll be able to further touch our heart chakra and open it and keep it open for a longer period of time, especially if we tend to close it down. And so that is my advice for these energies for the new moon in Cancer is to just allow yourself to open your heart chakra even just a little bit. And even if that's really hard for you to do, when I first learned to meditate and was working on my heart chakra because I had serious trauma that I needed to work through, my mentor said, imagine your most cherished loved pet that you've loved. If you don't have a fur baby, then maybe it's a person. It could be a flower. It could be anything, but your cherished, most loved pets. And imagine they're right in your heart chakra. And just imagine that the love you have for that being. And then expand it a little and expand it more and expand it more. And it really did connect me to my heart chakra. And I was able to break through some of those walls that I had put up. So I think that's a really good practice for this gentle, emotional new moon.
I love that. The new moon starts on June 25th and it's going to move into Cancer and it will be in Cancer until it moves into the full moon in Capricorn, which will be on July 10th. So, this new moon is really got a lot of grounding processing to it. And because it's in that Cancer and then moving into Capricorn, we've also got Jupiter in Cancer, we've got Uranus in Gemini, Saturn retrograde in Aries. So,
Mm-hmm.
what all this means is we've got a lot of like movement coming. Aries is going to bring a lot of that movement around July 12th for what you're bringing into this next life. And we're talking like cycles here of 13 years because of the way that these planets move. And then Uranus and Gemini, that's going to be giving us these abilities to really feel like we want to get out and be talking with all of our friends. This is
Mm-hmm.
happening around July 7th. This also is going to give us a really good idea of what's harmoniously working in our family systems and what's not working in our family systems. And around July 12th, when Saturn moves into Aries, that's usually when we're going to start getting really tired of our kids being on technology and we're going to start trying to like maybe push them out a little bit more. We're going to feel that like need to not rest as much, but push more. And then we've also got this just really big forward momentum with the July 10th full moon that is going
It's
to be really,
Capricorn, right?
yep.
That's yeah.
And that's going to be around routines and lifestyles. And that's really going to be related to work and personal commitments. And again, that's because you're going to be thinking a month out, right? Like, so July 10th, what do I need to be doing August 10th? That's when like all the schools are starting to do all the back things. So, like, that's when we have to kind of get back to real life. We only really get this 1 month of like
Mm-hmm.
complete before everything becomes everything again. Even if you homeschool, like there's just this aspect of what happens in our systems that have been put into place in our world.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that it's really important to give yourself a lot of nourishment right now. I love the meditation that Jamie was talking about with like animals and being able to work with the heart chakra. We have Uranus that moves. Let me see, we already said that, but we've got, okay, then Mercury is going retrograde in Leo from July 17th to August 11th.
Nice.
So that's going to be a really important time for a lot of forward momentum, but also it might feel like a lot of that forward momentum isn't working. But then right after that, August 11th is when that jump might have like a
Well,
big jump.
continue to build is what I'm hearing. Continue to maintain and build if you're in the process of building something, and don't take your obstacles as deterrent to your goals, and just keep the
Hmm.
course, basically.
Yeah. And then we don't have that new moon come in until Leo
Mm-hmm.
until July 24th. So it's really an intense month for communication. It's an intense month for romantic relationships. And it's a really intense month for reviewing your intentions, having mindful words, and making sure that you are thinking about the way that you're communicating, connecting with others, and making sure that it's the way that you want to be communicating and connecting with others. If
Mm-hmm.
you're not feeling a sacred yes with people, then that's probably probably a sacred no, you got to roll on. Time to move on.
Mhm.
That sacred authority and structure and responsibility that you're putting into your life, that you're calling into your life, those are the things that you are really looking at and creating in this time. And then we have Venus move into Gemini on July 4th, which is also really beautiful because it's going to bring, she's going to be out in the open and ready to go. And so she's our divine feminine planet. So she's going to be boosting us with all kinds of creativity and communication in our love and relationships. So the great thing is that there is going to be shifting of perspective in communications, but we're going to be able to use Venus to really bring out the best way to communicate and process through
And the
in our
flow.
relationships.
And the divine feminine flow that's really necessary to connect to, even if you are divine masculine human, to connecting into your divine feminine also is a great way to balance that, especially as she comes in online.
Yeah. And some of the ways that I love to celebrate summer solstice or just July in general, one
Mhm.
of my favorite things is to have ocean, river, or salt water shells, any of those kinds of things on my altar. I live in Missouri, so before I lived in California and I would have had ocean water. But now I live in Missouri, so I would have river water. And again, when I lived in California, I would have shells because that was easily accessible at the ocean. Now I'm at the river, so I might go and collect some really cool rocks or some cool, some cool wildflowers. I've got a lot of wildflowers around me right now. So,
Nice.
just really bringing in a lot of those things that we love and think about in summer. Um, the shadowy part of summer, I think that there's a lot of pieces, especially if you're a mother, where the mother wound, abandonment, and shadow of the mother can come up in summer. Because I think you either had a really awesome summer and you remember all of these amazing memories and you want to recreate them, or maybe you didn't and you want to create them. But
That's
if you
true.
didn't, there might be this like shadowy
That
abandonment
part.
and mother wound and
Absolutely.
fear of missing out or not doing enough or maybe the
It will make
things you didn't get.
And I feel like you're right because it does come up, and I think that's part of the emotional aspects of July in general, and being that it's a Cancerian month, that you're
Hmm.
dealing with those they're maiden wounds. They're the wounds that we carried during the summer. Like really review that. If you have a lot of tears, like I shedded a lot of tears during summer. I still do because I have wounds that happened during summertime for me as a child. I was very lonely, and my family didn't do anything, so I was really bored too. And um it was just one of those things. And so I overcompensate with my children. I see that, I still do it, but I understand why I do it. And I understand that I'm still healing that part of me. And then maybe it'll take some time to heal, but just being gentle about it and know that it's okay to cry. I mean, really, even though summer is supposed to be happy and fun and everyone's having a good time, if you just feel like crying, that's good. Just do it. Let the tears flow. Like, allow yourself to just go there and know that once you release all that, then next summer will be softer, and next summer will be softer, and then someday it'll be nothing. And you will just enjoy summer fully because you'll be fully engaged with it in your present moment.
Hmm. Yeah, and do lots of things that you love. I mean, and if you need to explore mothering yourself, don't be afraid to mother yourself in all the best ways. Don't be afraid to, give yourselves any of the things that maybe you are grieving about or sad about, and maybe you wanted to create in your life. Create them in your life now.
Mhm.
You can nurture yourself. You can, hug yourself. You can love yourself. You can give yourself a lot of the nurturing and love that's needed in the Cancer season. If you have a friend who's a Cancer, you might relate to like this story that I'm about to tell. But I have a son who's a Cancer. He's a Cancer in his astrology, and I didn't realize for a long time how emotional Cancer actually is
Mhm.
until I really saw it in a person and the understanding of like what this Cancer planet actually does and how it presents itself. And it really is about living like in this moment, like experiencing the extreme love and joy of running in the ocean and getting buried in the sand, and then the extreme uncomfortableness of the sand in your ass
Oh my
and
gosh,
wanting
that's
immediately to
hilarious.
get a shower because
Oh yeah.
now you're agitated and uncomfortable for the fun thing that you did. And so, I think one of the things that that happens
Right.
as we become wise women and into our crone ages is we work more on becoming comfortable and doing things that are comfortable and being in comfortable things and going comfortable places. And
Mhm.
so, um, it's a really great time to be getting out of your comfort zone
Mhm.
and doing some fun things, make
Yes.
some sacred commitments with yourself and things that you're excited about and that you want to call in that are going to strengthen your next few months and allow the presence for dream work and devotional time in the daily. If you can't do it daily, do it weekly. And it's a really important energetic hygiene that will help you as these planets shift and these emotions come on, if you're giving yourself some of that daily time, like writing down your dreams and journaling about things that you're experiencing that are happening during certain time periods, it's going to give you focus and it's going to help you grow in the most beautiful way.
It is. It's going to give you time to give yourself attention that you need. It's just every time we are triggered or every time we have these heavy emotions and we don't allow ourselves to just honor them, then we are giving the time we need to ourselves and giving the
Yeah.
voice to be heard of these traumas in our life. So if the opportunity comes up, just do it and be gentle. And it is definitely a spiritual hygiene. I love that phrase. It's like definitely necessary throughout all the months, every day,
Hmm.
every week. Build that
Yeah.
into your sacred structure.
Well, and the archetype of July is the mother. It's really this aspect of the great mother, the nurturing of the earth, the nurturing of your boundaries, the nurturing of your sacred yes and your sacred no, and having devotion to your nervous system. Like you spend an entire time probably in fight, flight, or freeze with your nervous system that way because you're go, 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 do, do, do all the time. And this is the one month where maybe you don't have to do that. So just allow yourself to have a nervous system reset and then as you move forward in what you say yes to and no to, even for your children, continue to try to process in your life a slower pace
Mhm.
and more opportunities for you to just rest and slow down and bring more balance because that will really help your nervous system not be in that fight, flight, or freeze or not be in that guilt shame cycle when you didn't do anything because you were in fight, flight, or freeze.
So good. That's such good wisdom.
The other archetype that really comes in July is the crone, wise, slow, trusting your intuition. Again, sacred yes, sacred no, right? The crone doesn't need to clear out her schedule. She doesn't show the fuck up if she doesn't want to show the fuck up.
You're right. She is who she is and she knows it and she's okay with it.
And it's not about disappointing others or fear of missing out. It's just about having her sacred space protected at all times.
That's right. And she just has her power. She just knows her power. So she doesn't need to find it from any other source.
And then I think towards the end of July, even maybe the beginning of August, we get this wild muse, this emerging Leo, this like self-expression, raw joy, and this reclamation of just life. It's like midsummer, everything's sunny and shiny. You want to go be in nature and do everything. Maybe you're kind of like me, but school started and you're like, I'd much rather be out at the beach, but I'm here at school. And so you're still trying to like take in every little bit of summer that you can. And it brings this real creative flow and beautiful wildness to it.
Definitely. And you live more in the present moment too. So that's another piece. It's just practicing living in the present. The more
Yeah,
you live in the present moment during these months, the longer the days seem, the more time
that's true.
you have, it expands for you. And then you can really eke out every moment with your kids or with your just in your life.
Yeah, yeah. So a great affirmation right now would be I am safe to soften.
Mm.
I am safe to soften.
Mhm.
I am safe to soften. And another one might be I'm safe to shine. I'm safe to shine. I am safe to shine and be soft.
Right. Love it.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you would really like to more information on full moons, new moons, or doing monthly ceremonies, and that's something that you would like to be a part of, we do run a monthly membership. It's always open. It's not something that you have to like apply to or anything. And in there, we run monthly full moon circles. We have our terror class in there, which is awesome. You can do a deep dive on terror, and you get your sisterhood and community with all the women in there who are on the same life path of healing, transformation, and supporting others in mentorship and coaching on this spiritual path. If you'd like to learn more information about that, please find Lunar Alchemy below and let us know what you thought about this. Let us know how June energies went for you. How are July energies calling for you? And what is it that you're calling in for July? Can you tell us something that you're calling into July down in our comments below?
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Thank you so much for being here today. And peace out, witches.
Peace out. Peace out. I'm so tired.
Oh,
I got my
I love.
husband. My husband's like, I made dinner for you 2 hours ago. Bring it up to me.
Why didn't he bring it up to
I
you?
don't know. I need it. I gotta go figure that piece out.
I love you.
I love you too. I'll see you
Bye.
tomorrow. Bye. Peace out, witches.